Right, we're back. Talking Tea, episode 9. Nobody's listening. This is Eric. We got Herb. Herb, favorite character so far in the show?
Wow, that's put me on the spot.
Put you on the spot.
Luthen.
Luthen. Skylar, favorite character in the show?
B8.
Connor, favorite character in the show?
I don't want to repeat here. I'm between the prison boss and Tay.
Kino and Tay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Aaron, favorite character?
I also don't want to repeat. I'll go with a guy who, before this podcast, I did not anticipate spending this much time on, and that is Punchable Perrian.
Punchable Perrian. I'm going to go with a cult classic. My favorite character is still Vex from episode 1. That is his 3 lines that he had. Still, best performance so far in the show is my boy Vex.
Note that nobody said Cassian Andor.
Nope, not there yet. He's kind of, like I said,
a bad guy.
Yeah, not a redeemable character yet, but maybe we're getting there. All right, so the title of the episode is Nobody's Listening, here's the breakdown. So, Dedra tortures Bix for information and realizes that Cassian may have been involved in the Aldani attack, but she fails to learn anything about Luthen. The ISB capture a rebel pilot who reveals a power station on Spellhouse is set to be raided. Mon unites with the Vel, reveals as her cousin, and encourages her to keep a low profile while maintaining the facade of a rich and politically uninvolved young woman. Mon and Tay continue working to covertly gather funds for rebel activities. Meanwhile, an older member of Cassian's prison work crew named Olaf is euthanized by a prison medic named Dr. Raziv when he suffers a stroke and can no longer work effectively. The doctor confirms to Cassian and the floor manager Kino a disturbing rumor. A prisoner set to be released was instead sent to a work crew on a different level, forcing the prison to kill all the prisoners on that level to cover up the mistake. Cassian and Kino realize that the prison may never let them go, convincing Kino to join Cassian's scheme to escape. So we get the build up to what seems like the plan of escape. So we will start with Ferrix. So Dedra is here with Bix, trying to give her a deal to cooperate. And then we get to introduce, as they're trying to get information out of Bix about Luthen, about Cassian, we get introduced to Dr. Gorst, aka the Torturer, who, as a torturer, tries to be that too cool, too friendly of a guy when his job is Dr. Torturer. Like, they introduce him and he just kind of turns and smiles and waves like, hey, I'm just your regular doctor friend. I think he really should lean into like, hey, I'm a villain. But he tries to be like, I'm cool. I'm like your cool guy. I'm not your usual torturer. I'm your best friend torturer. I don't like his appearance. I do not like his personality at all. I don't know if anyone felt like that. I just said, how about you read the room, man? You're not a friendly guy. People do not like you at all.
I kind of wondered, I know obviously we've been mostly talking about Punchable Perrian, but is this guy more punchable?
So, I do not like his face.
Yeah, I literally in my notes I had punchable face.
I would agree with that, for sure.
Grappling Gorst?
Who do we hate? I'm sorry. Who?
Dr. Gorst.
The literal torturer.
Yeah, that guy.
Hate him.
He is like enjoying it too. It's wild.
Yeah, I said he like has the vibe of like your like stereotypical suburban dad that's like going to work and doing heinous things, and he goes back home, he's like, how was work? Oh, it was another day. Meanwhile, he's like killing people. Like, he just has a weird vibe, weird air about him. Like, he needs to be more like, oh gosh, he needs to be a lot more like rude, if that makes sense. You just don't try to be cool. No one wants you to try to be cool, man.
Yeah. You're torturing people. Don't be cool.
Yeah, don't be cool. Dedra said she hates wasting time, which I find so interesting, as the whole thing she's doing is trying to find Cassian Andor, who again is in their prison. All she is doing is wasting time. So I find that like note so funny to me that she says it over and over. She mentions that Pac was a separatist. He was given this radio to contact Luthen by a woman. Are we assuming that the woman is Clea? Is that the assumption?
Yeah, same. I just kind of assumed that.
That's the vibe that I had. And then you have Bix. She calls the ISB the worst of the worst. And it's proven because she asks all these questions, and Bix says, "You're not going to believe me anyway, are you?" Like she says, "No matter what I say about Luthen or Cassian, you're not going to believe me." And Dedra looks, smiles, and she says, "No."
And this is where I saw the first, like, true evil of her. Because, like, she gives, like, a joyful, evil smile. Like, you better believe it. Get ready for some torture.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
Not to mention, like, and this is, they talk about, like, the carelessness the Empire has of, like, human life. Like, the pilot they'll catch later on. Like, they're so matter-of-fact. It's like, let's just kill him and fake it. Like... They're like, and it's just so matter of fact, it's so uncomfortable that how they talk about death, or you know what I mean, or killing people, and there's no difference there when they're talking in that realm with Bix. It's like they do not care, they do not value life at all. They just kill whoever they want to kill. They torture whoever they want to torture.
And I did like the. Sounds weird to say, but like his description on like the torture device, and I was wondering if we were going to get to hear like the descriptor or like the actual sound, but really we just hear Bix's scream at the end, right? We don't actually hear the sound that she hears.
Correct.
Didn't they describe the sound though?
Yes, in extreme detail.
Yeah, and he enjoys it.
I don't think I need to hear that though. Like,
you don't need to hear the playing of children's cries as they're getting massacred, as I wrote down. That's not something you wanted to hear. Yeah, and again, I write down in this scene, the Doctor needs to stop trying to be likable. He's like, "Oh, the restraints aren't for you," or like, "It's all fine."
Stop.
Like, dude, shut up. He's like trying to be like, "It's okay, like it'll be fine." I'm like, just shut up, dude. We hate you. And again, he describes like they massacre these children, and I'm like, I wrote down, wow, this is starting to show very quickly how awful the Empire is. Like, not that we didn't already know it, but like very clearly, like putting it out like we're seeing the worst and the worst of the Empire each and every episode. Even if we can't imagine they're getting worse, they do. I also wrote down she gets tortured and like just mentally fatigued and exhausted in this situation. And then Dedra like comes in and like grabs her face. I wrote down, I really do not like how she grabbed her face. It made me very uncomfortable. How she like grabbed her chin and just like twisted her head. I was like, I don't like that. I felt weird watching it. Like it felt too comfortable for Dedra. She's like, "Oh, I do this. This is how I do this." Like, oh no, I just was getting some weird body language things in these episodes.
Yeah, I didn't like how Dedra was acting in those, like, I don't know, she was just being weird. Like, it didn't even necessarily feel, like, totally in character, which is maybe part of the point, like, she's putting on a front.
It almost... Sorry, oh, you're done,
Yeah,
my bad.
No, I was just gonna say, it was just strange, like, it made me uncomfortable.
For me, it kind of was like, the best comparison was like Azula in Avatar: The Last Airbender, when she is like, you know she's evil, but then she slowly starts to go crazy, and that hair is out of line, and then she loses her mind. I think this, for me, this is like her like starting to lose it. She can't control herself anymore.
Yeah, I feel like she's starting to get quite impatient, you know, with everything.
Any episode. Oh, go ahead.
Like to waste time, but she's starting to get impatient that she can't find Andor, or can't figure out who Luthen is.
Yeah.
And he, like you said, the cracks are starting to show in the armor here.
She. By the way, anytime we ever make a comp to Avatar: The Last Airbender, we have succeeded in our podcast. That is a wonderful comp. Thank you, Connor, for sharing that. That is delightful.
I got you. Yeah.
She
I
also
don't know if
wants.
it's accurate, but I tried.
I think we could see, especially. I mean, I don't know. We don't know who makes it out, except I'm pretty confident we know 2 people that make it out of this first season. But outside of that, I don't know what might happen. But, well, 3. Sorry, 3. I know at least 3 that make it out. But if we don't see it this season, maybe if she makes it to the next season, we could see that come to fruition where she loses it. Because obviously we don't see Dedra in, like, episodes 4, 5, and 6. So I would say it's pretty... There's an argument to make that something happens in that time frame. You never know, but... That'd be my opinion on the matter. I don't know what you guys are thinking, though.
I think that, like, obviously a lot of these characters are going to have, like, resolutions. I think it's also possible or probable that a lot of them are just, like, the episodes 4, 5, and 6 are, like, the big players, like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. Right now we're kind of watching, like, a more grounded, like, the smaller players, like the little people in the galaxy that don't really necessarily play a huge part, but like are kind of behind the scenes moving the pieces on the board.
That answer a lot of questions too, you know what I mean? Because it's like, where did the rebellion get these funds to be able to fight back, or like where did the beginnings of it begin? I think that answers some of those questions that really lets you dive deep into the Star Wars universe.
How was the Death Star built?
True.
Exactly.
Yes.
Slave labor.
Slave labor.
It would have been a good guess even back in the 1970s when it first came out.
That's so true.
Yeah. It's funny to see how much it's grown, and we could talk about that for probably far too long. But talking about slave labor, we'll go to Narkina 5, and we start seeing in this episode, I feel like you see Andor's brain working like overtime. Like every scene we catch him in, he's observing patterns, he's looking at different things, he's starting to see how people come in and out, and that escape plan is being hatched in his brain. And then we go to Olaf, and Kino said, "Olaf, you're the next guy off the floor, 41 days. And I wrote in my notes, "Do we think he makes it?" Question mark. Well,
no.
We'll find that out later, but I did have hope. I had hope.
Before the episode ends, if that was the question posed to me, like, he's not making it 41 days.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough, but so we see Andor, he's taking his break, and he's going to saw at this pipe. Starting to see, like, hey, this is the beginnings of, like, if we're getting out, this is how we're going to do it. And obviously working with other people on the table outside of shockingly productive. Table 5, aka check out last podcast for more details. And they can see, like, how different things aren't shock absorbent, like different things that move, different handles. It's not necessarily everything in it, so they're breaking it down. And this is the thing, when they're starting to look at this plan, it reminds me back to episode 3 when Luthen's talking to Andor before they make their big escape, and he's asking, like, how did you do all this? And Cassian says, the Empire can't imagine someone like me getting inside their house. And I feel like, again, this is another callback. The Empire cannot imagine someone breaking out, someone actually doing something to cause a problem. They can't imagine someone like Cassian making a difference. And he just continually shows, like, I'm going to make a difference, or we think he's going to make a difference with how he changes how the Empire does things.
If you remember, too, that's a callback to his first meeting with Luthen, because Luthen's, like, talking about the Star Path unit. He's like, how'd you get it? He's like, you just walk in and take it. Like, they're too busy being all high and mighty with themselves, that they don't even think that you like could sneak in right under their nose.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's the same conversation we mentioned. Like, they can't imagine someone like me being inside their house. Like, they just think they're so small and insignificant that it can't make a difference. But we will see that's probably not the case. And then we
the guy
see...
he was talking to,
Yes.
was he a part of the same table?
No, he's not on Shockingly Productive.
Which
Different
what
table.
made me, when that happened, I just wanted to confirm that before I made this point. When he's sharing it with him, that makes me know that this is not like just a him thing with just a couple people. Like, it's like almost a whole unit. Like the whole 47 men are on it, except for one, the boss, from what I could tell.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly to the extent, but you can see multiple people in that room, on that floor, are in agreement. Like, hey, we are gonna do something. So I do find that pretty, like, unique. Like, a whole different table, but there's still guys that have hope that they can get out, if that makes sense. Except for Melshi. Melshi has no... Melshi the realist. I wrote down, like, every time. Like, Melshi's the negative, and Claw is always yelling at him for it. Like, without fail. I call him Ulysses Claw, but it's Kino Loy. It's saying, like... Melshi, shut up, Melshi. I think he literally says, "That's enough from you, Melshi!" Yeah. When he keeps talking, like, about his pessimistic nature. It's like, we're not getting out. It's all lies. And they're like, dude, relax. And then we see the end of the shift happens, and Taga is the communicator. He's the guy that signs. And you can see that, like, as the conversation keeps building, it keeps getting more, like, and more intense. It's like the signs start speeding up. They don't know what's happening. And then all of a sudden, there's a power surge. And, like, the power goes out. Did anyone kind of put that together in the end?
Yeah. Which we talked about a bit. Go back to it at the end of the episode.
Yeah, absolutely. But Kino, he continually sits there and is like, nothing's wrong, everything's fine. Again, just having that nature of, like, trying to have the altruistic belief that, like, if he just keeps working, it's all going to work out, which we know is unfortunately not the case. Has anyone read the book Animal Farm?
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember that horse that, like, oh, no matter what I do, if I just keep working, it'll all work out, and then he eventually, like, dies from, like, exhaustion?
What a pullback.
Thank you.
That's crazy.
That's exactly what, like, the Kino vibe is right now, is he's doing whatever. He's just going to keep working and hope it all works out when that's not the case, unfortunately. Like, he's just going to essentially die in that prison if he keeps up the attitude that he has.
He probably still believes in the system.
Yep. Even though it's never going to work for him. Yeah, I said Kino is in denial, is what I say. Because everyone else suspects something's wrong, and he's like, no, you don't know. It just having that blind hope, which is misguided, is very sad.
And I really liked how he, like, to his defense, which I thought it was a good point, he's like, it takes us forever to get it. It's like, how many of those signals do you have to do to get one word? It's like, yeah. Because they're like throwing up 400 hand signals, like, go ahead, tell them hi real quick for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how, like I said, I don't have a clue what's happening, but it is funny, like, how that communication's going. And how he thinks so little of it. Then we go to Coruscant, and we have Senate time. So, Mon is debating the PORD, the PORD, and it says, it's marching unchallenged authority. And you hear some people say, long live the Empire, but if you listen with subtitles, there are people, like, in agreement with Mon, which I appreciate. I'm glad there is still some sort of, like, back and forth, and it's not just Mon alone trying to fight the entire Empire, the Senate. But obviously ended up not much happening. Until the end of the episode, she leaves, and guess who has come to town? Her cousin, Vel. We get rich girl Vel. back in the scene, completely changing her personality from renegade rebel to actually being more of a fighter.
Real quick, Durgus, on that Senate scene.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is you can see the senators just turning off their light to their pods. And I thought that was a big symbolism thing for them, basically like the Senate's being taken over by the dark side.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is 100% a great point. Yeah, you see the dark and the light always in Star Wars, and that's another example of people turning it off, just falling into the rule of the dark side. Totally. A classic, again, what's the title of this episode? Nobody's Listening. A classic pull to Nobody's Listening. The Senate isn't listening. Obviously, there are many people that aren't. But we get to see Vel, and we get to see Punchable Perrian again talk about his daughter. His daughter says Perrian lets him do whatever she wants. Again, Perrian sucks. Hate that guy. He's so punchable. I wrote down, I really hope we get to see his butt kicked. Like, I hope someone actually does punch Perrian.
Yeah, quick side note on back to the Senate real quick. Like, credit to her to seeing those lights go off and keep talking through, like, and she was passionate because, I mean, I can't even hold a single thought while I'm playing this game. And then to have somebody, like, turn off their light and say, I'm not interested in what you have to say anymore, and not just one person, like, multiple lights going off, and she stays committed, I was like, that's impressive. Because, like, public speaking's already not easy, and then she's got people showing, like, I think you're an idiot, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So I thought the lights was an interesting point as well. I picked up on that too.
It's almost like she's been a senator since she was 16. Like, she's really locked in. Like, she's really professional.
To see Palpatine too. I was looking for him. I was like, oh, is he here? But
did anyone see Yoda? Was Yoda there?
Yeah.
He's still jumping around in that in the Senate. Still jumping around. And then Vel, the coolest thing she does, which, as we know, hot take, Vel stinks. Vel, the coolest thing she says doesn't even come from her. It's a recycled line from Cinta, because she says the rebellion comes first, we take what's left. Just another thing that Cinta said to her, but she says to Mon to act all cool. I'm like, dang it, even the cool thing you said is not good.
Call back to one of our earlier episodes. We now can see why Vel was in charge at Aldhani. Wasn't because she was particularly good at being in charge. She was just she's close with Luthen, as she talks about their pact or vow that they made, which we don't really get any more insight on.
Oh, vow. Yeah, I didn't even catch that. I wrote down in that scene, I said so unoriginal, by the way, for Vel. But then I wrote down, Mon's daughter comes in with the gown and twirls. I wrote down, hate the twirl. Hate the twirl. Don't do the twirl. Another Office callback. It's like, we don't care. Narkina 5. Andor continually trying to get Kino to talk about the facility and what's going on, the ins and the outs. And Kino hates it. Just still in denial. Doesn't want any part of this escape or rebellion. And Andor agrees with Kino to say the Empire does not care about them one bit, and yells, "Nobody is listening!" Which, again, title of the episode. Nobody is listening. Nobody's listening to Andor. The Empire doesn't listen to him. Kino's not listening to him. It's just everything's they're meant to seem so insignificant when they're of course not. With Coruscant, we go right back to Coruscant and we see Dedra's underling. I wrote underling gets moment of glory because they connect Andor to Aldhani for the first time because he's clean shaven, right? That is the connection. That dude steps up and says, Andor was clean shaven, he was identified. So they start to make that connection that maybe that's the point we need to be looking at, is connecting Andor to Aldhani, which is, I would say, a big deal that they catch. Again, showing that Dedra's not bad at her job. Her team is not bad at her job. Like, that's a really big catch for them.
Was I the only one that thought that was a bit of a stretch?
Oh, it's a very big stretch.
Like, oh, he's clean shaven. He must have robbed this place. Like, there aren't 500 billion other clean shaven guys in the galaxy.
Right. I think, did they connect it with, like, the fact that he had all this money when he came back to Ferrix? That's what I thought they did. I thought that was another part of it all.
That was, yeah, I think that was part of it, but I think it was like, I don't know, kind of, it was set up to be as like the zinger is like, oh, he shaved.
Yeah, and I think they're reaching
in that moment. Like, I feel like they're gonna go with that because it's, you know, they have to start getting close at some point to figuring him out. But like, that seemed like a stretch to me.
I think that's kind of part of it, you know, that they're just trying to make stretches because they want to connect it, and it might just fortunately be working out for them, more or less. Like, if that makes sense. Like, do we have the stolen pieces? We have the rebellion activity with Andor, and now they're like, oh, maybe we can connect this, even if it's not the case. But, you know, just trying to make it seem more important for them, I guess, or make them seem more important. Maybe is the better way to say it. So we get to Narkina 5 back there, and the word is out. The whole bridge got fried. That's what shut out the power, because they had to fry an entire floor. That was why that moment happened where they had the power outage. And they ask, why was it done? And then you get Zinska. Zinska might be my favorite minor character of this episode arc, because they're like, you gotta ask Zinska. Zinska's the only one to know. And Kino's like, Zinska? And this dude just randomly strolls up and in like a serious tone was like, heard they were making trouble. And then that's all he says. Like, what a line delivery by Zinska. Just like the most random and ominous thing he could have said, and then just leaves. No more roles for him. I don't know if anyone else got that. I thought that was really funny. I guess not. So back to Coruscant, we get to Karn's mom in her Edna Mode era from The Incredibles, just like overreaching. I love this part where she's just absolutely going at Karn and saying how he sucks, and Karn just like takes his cereal and slurps it so loud so he doesn't even have to hear her like complaining, and it's like very long and audible. And then like after it all, he says, yeah, I got promoted. And she's like, oh, you're the best. I knew they'd recognize your potential. And you're like, shut up. You hate him. You're just always on him. But as soon as he gets a promotion, something good happens, you want to act like you're the best mom. Stinking Mrs. Fig.
Yeah, her arc, I don't think it's happening. I thought she might be maybe secretly a part at the very beginning. I was like, maybe she's for the rebellion. Nah, she just sucks all the way around. Her and Perrian would make a great match.
Talk about
never.
Yeah, talk about a guy that sucks. By the way, let's go back to Narkina 5, and we go to after we see Olaf rapidly deteriorating, which I wrote down. This is probably not dementia. It's happening way too fast. We do go back to Coruscant, and I write down, Perrin is just an idiot. Because they're sitting there at the dinner table, and he's like, Vel, have you found a husband? You're like, first of all, who asked that question to anyone? And she's like, I didn't know it was on my list. And he's like, well, who would even be a value at your age? You just need a widower. I'm like, jeez, man.
Yeah,
You're
nuts.
such a punchable guy. I hate you. Like, who asked these questions in front of your own daughter? You're just gonna act like such a jerk? That drove me up the wall.
I mean, it also shows more of Vel's rebellion character, because she didn't follow the Chandrillian tradition of the arranged marriage. So, that's
good
what
catch.
I took away from that.
Interesting catch. Yeah, I didn't catch
She's been
that.
rebellion her whole life.
I also wrote down, because his daughter, I can't remember her name, she talks about Tay, and it's like, yeah, that was your ex-boyfriend, Mom. And she's like, how did you know that? And of course, he punchable Perrian told his own daughter, he's like, yeah, that guy used to date your mom. Like, why would you be bringing this stuff up to your daughter? Like, yeah, we should watch. I'm like, everything he does in this is probably the worst part of him so far, in my opinion. It's like that whole scene is him at his absolute worst. It's just being a total jerk, like jumping over boundaries, doing everything that he shouldn't. I'm like, man, it drives me nuts sitting here watching how punchable he is. Any thoughts on punchable, P?
I can believe
yeah,
he said that. It was nuts.
That's the same thing as like before, where he was trying to use the daughter to like jab at her, you know. I can't remember what it was for in the first 3 or second set of 3, but at one point we talked about how like he uses the daughter to try and like jab at her and like get his point across. And I think that's the same thing he's doing here.
Yeah, it seems like he just treats his daughter like a pawn in his game against his wife.
Yeah, Herb, what do you think about punchable Perrian in these scenes?
Yeah, he's the worst. He continues to be the worst. There's no character arc for him. He's just awful.
Yeah, he is the opposite of Karn. As we go to Coruscant, he is an anti-simp. Karn is a simp. My gosh, he is so excited to
Yes.
for Dedra. So we catch him waiting outside the ISB headquarters. And he says, I wanted to thank Dedra, but he also admits he definitely stalked her. And she's like, I could have you arrested. Do you know what you're doing? And he's like, yeah, I've come a few times to see, to make sure you're around. She's like, what are you talking about? I could have you arrested. And I'm like, dude, shut up. Why do you keep saying all this? But I wrote down, he's charming a woman that people usually fear, they don't actually love. And of course, exteriorly, she is like, has a backbone of like, I'm not dealing with any of this. But I wonder, is that gonna wear on her eventually? Like, I wonder if his moves are actually gonna impact her at all. Like, he even grabs her from leaving, which is again something she could have absolutely had him arrested for and had him building whatever on Narkina 5, but I said she fights it, but she kind of digs it. That's what I wrote down in that moment.
Yeah. I just wrote down Karn is like madly in love with her after his interview with her.
Yeah.
I think it worked.
I think it worked too.
I do
think
too.
she's into it.
I think that for me, in this moment, Karn went from like, like he's obviously got the wrong intentions, but like, he's very sincere and like trying to do what he thinks is right. And so I kind of like respected him for that. At this point, I'm just like, never mind, I don't like him. Like, you can't, like all the stuff he does and talks about in this scene, I'm just like,
The stalking.
that
He's
ended.
certified creep.
You're a creep, you just gotta go.
But
Can't-
it's the obsessive side of him, right? Like, he's obsessive with Andor, now he's obsessive with Dedra. Like, he cannot help it. Like, it's that obsessiveness that is like such a big part of his character. Which is not, I'm not arguing is a good thing, I'm just saying that's part of him.
I think that's what solidifies him to me, is like, yeah, you're a psychopath, Like, you're just really, really strange.
Yeah, he is a
It's
strange
just
little
kinda
guy.
Like, like he's very obsessed with it, but it's because he thinks it's like the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is just weird.
Yeah. Yep, I totally agree. So after all that, we get the Imperial pilot caught, one of the Krieger's pilots, and I just write down torture time, LOL, and then I wrote, she's going to interview him remotely? What kind of plan is that? Is this a Zoom call of torture? How do you do that? Like, I'm gonna do it remotely. I'm like, that's like a post-COVID writing, for sure. It's like, how do you torture someone with interrogation questions remotely? I'd be insulted if I was that pilot. I'm like, you can't even make your way over here to do it in person. I'm not even worth an in-person torture. I really got hung up on the virtual torture.
Well, I guess when you have that creepy doctor, you can do anything you want.
I hate that guy. That dude does suck. But, like, the questions, how intimidating is it? Like, you just... What do you do if you get real intense? Do you, like, just put your forehead on the camera? Like, you're like, look at me. This is how close I'd be to you right now if I was there in person.
I'm gonna tell the doctor to turn that music up even higher.
Yeah, music. The screams of children, it's like music to his ears.
Oh, whatever.
They're rickrolling. No, make it stop!
That would be torture.
Oh, man. But quickly, they start to formulate a plan, and then we get back to Tay, and he basically says, Mon, you were an idiot with your embezzlement, and now I gotta fix this crap. You could have told me a lot earlier, and we would have had it all taken care of, but no. Now I gotta get a thug to give us a loan, and it's Davo Skolden. Davo Skolden. I don't know much about Davo, but he sounds like not a great guy. He's a wealthy thug. Again, I write down Tay's hair, super impressive. Just great appearance from Tay. But does anyone know anything about Davo Skolden?
Pretty sure this is the first like drop we get of him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't know anything about him, like from anything prior to this. So, I don't know. Well, then we get to the war room. The time has come up with a plan. We got to kill the pilot, make it look like an accident. Again, I write down like absolutely no regard for human life in this situation. Like just showing how they can throw it away. It's like we're just making an accident, and they'll find it and they'll tow the plane back. I'm like, just like they do not care one bit. I also laugh at Cartergas. It's like he wants intel immediately, and no one gets up. They just kind of like look at him, and he's like, "Let's go." And they're like, oh yeah, and they just all take off running. Like he's very calm in his role of like being a leader. He's like very sarcastic and calm versus like Palpatine would just like force lightning someone, or like Darth Vader would just choke them out. Like he's just like, come on, let's do the job, guys. Like, oh yeah, right, my bad. I just find his style of leadership very swift and interesting. So we'll close out on Narkina 5. With Narkina 5, we get to Olaf going downhill. Did anyone think like, when did anyone think that Olaf was gonna die?
Probably when he fell down on the line.
Yeah, when he fell, I thought that he was having a heart attack and he was like gone. I was surprised to kind of see him again after that.
Yeah, you kind of knew it was coming. You knew there was some kind of health degeneration going on there. And I mean, I actually, when I was watching it with Emily, I said, I was like, I bet he's going to make it all the way until they escape from the prison, then he's going to die in the escape. And that didn't age well.
Neither did Olaf, because he does not live that long. He stops aging, actually. And he goes down in the hallway, starts to die. And I like the line, my favorite line maybe from the episode, is, he's as tough as an old rock. I'm like, I hope people say that about me. I'm tough like an old rock, which I've never heard before, but I thought was interesting. But they do reveal he's had a massive stroke. And instead of trying to do anything to save him, they just euthanize him. Which again, talking about the value of human life, that they're just like, it's better for him to get euthanized more or less than live like this, to keep fighting, to keep working. And they finally get it out and they say, what happened on 2? What happened on 2? And that's where we get the reveal. There was a prisoner released from 4, and they just actually, instead of releasing him, rerouted him to floor 2 on accident. Everyone knows, and they have to kill the whole floor to make sure that it doesn't get out anymore. Just a tough realization for everyone else there that no one's getting out of this prison. And The only way out is the escape. So
Also, did not expect the doctor that came to, euthanize him to be a prisoner, but I thought that was interesting.
yeah, that'd be Herb. If we went in, he'd be the medicine man.
I've got the med spikes.
Med spikes, med pills, med slurps, med soups, all of them. He has them all. And then the med death.
Like, yeah, the med spike, the med pill. What is the little thing that like euthanizes him?
I think
Anti-med.
med death, anti-med, med death.
Med spike.
Yeah, no kidding. Anti-med
Med
spike is the patented name. That's what we're gonna go with from here on out.
It's a little
But
more
yeah.
pleasant than death spike.
Yeah. No, it has to have med in it. Has to have med in it.
Yeah.
Has to. So you're right about that.
The doctor did say it's not that he didn't want to help, he wasn't allowed to help.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah, he says he's not
I didn't
able
catch
to
that.
help.
Interesting. Yeah, I like how they're trying to get that moment alone. And he's like, I need a body bag, and he's like, it's coming. And then he says it again, and the dude just randomly decides to leave. Like the guard, he's like,
Yeah.
it's coming, and then he just walks out, and we're like, well, that worked out well for them. They can just be
That
like,
was
hey,
convenient.
let's talk now. Like, huh. But then we finally see at the end, Kino accepts the truth, and he starts answering Andor's question that he's been asking, like, how many guards on each floor? And he says, never more than 12. I write down, Kino finally is done wasting time. Just like Dedra said in the first line, how she hates wasting time. Everyone's making their final move, or getting ready to make their final move. Says, we come up with a plan on Ferrix for Cassian or Luthen, and we come out with our prison escape. It's all coming about is, everyone's stopping wasting time and deciding they're going to finally try to do something. So, but yeah, that's the episode. A few notes I had. Vel has, I know this is a big concern for everyone. Vel has recovered from her injury. She is walking normally again. I did a Vel walk check, and the hip is back to normal, doing well. So
Thank goodness.
I know everyone was concerned, but we got it. We have that taken care of. Limp is no longer there. Anyone else have hot takes? Any scenes they wanted to make a mention?
Nope.
No.
Thought it was a really
pretty
good episode, though. I enjoyed it. Really sad about the prisoner dying, though.
Olaf, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Not a
I
part
almost
of.
called him Olaf, so
He did not build a snowman.
yeah.
So where do we think it goes from here, guys? Herb, I'll start with you. What do you think happens, to end this?
Well, they're gonna have to formulate some sort of plan to escape. That's for sure.
Right. Do you think they get out? Do you think everyone gets out? What do you how do you think this all goes? And then obviously we get the whole final end. Do we get a face-off? Does Cyril somehow get back in the game? Does Dedra meet Cassian? What do we think? How do we think this is going to shake out?
As far as the prison escape, I think there's going to be some deaths, and then obviously a couple are going to survive. I think one of the deaths will probably be Andy Serkis, whatever his character's name is.
Kino Loy.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, but that's just a...
New fear unlocked for Connor. Wait.
I don't know if it's going to happen. That's just one of my predictions.
Yes. Connor, what do you think?
I definitely think the jailbreak is imminent. I'll be interested to see if they're right about the guards, or maybe secretly there's just a squadron been waiting for this moment, like the Empire. We trained for these moments during peacetime.
Goyle.
But yeah, hopefully he'll make another appearance on screen.
Yeah. Do we think Goyle lives or dies? Is the question.
He probably, I don't know, he's probably gonna die by fire or something.
Yeah. Just something off the top of my head. Something that we've never seen before.
But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Do you think, I'm trying to think, we have a lot of different planets. We're on Coruscant, we're on Ferrix, we're on Narkina 5 right now. Does he go back to Ferrix even though he knows it's under control if he gets out of prison? Do we get what do we get on Coruscant with Mon? Like, how does the season end for Mon? Obviously, we know there's another season at hand, but what do we think happens with this thug? You know, there's so many things tied up. Do we think Luthen gets exposed? Man, I just, you know, obviously so much to think of. Skylar, what are you interested to find out as the last arc is upon us for the last few episodes?
As one of the hosts of our podcast that has seen both seasons, I'm not going to comment at this time.
Okay. I appreciate your unbiased attitude. Aaron, I know you've seen it all, but when you watch, what do you anticipate? Like, what are you excited to see? What are you excited to find out?
I know you've seen it all.
Like, what character, what arc speaks to you the most? What are you most compelled by?
I think that I am probably most compelled by, I don't know, it's hard to say. There's just so many different character arcs weaving in and out all at the same time. If I had to pick one, I would probably say I'm most interested in, gosh, I don't know. Probably just like the whole situation on Coruscant with Mon and that, because it's just so like political and like, you know, everything else is kind of coming to like physical altercations. This is the one that's like all being played in the shadows. So I'm just interested to see like where that all leads.
I'm excited to see if Dedra slips up. Because, like, every time we see her, she's doing good in the Empire's eyes. Are we ever going to see her actually make a mistake? Like, are we going to see her fall from this grace of, you know, she's doing really well? That I don't know. Connor, any thoughts, any storylines you're compelled by as we close it out?
No, I really do think the jailbreak is imminent. I think there's going to be some interesting parts. Oh, my final thought is, like, I felt like the pilot that went down was a little vague. I would be interested to know who the pilot is that went down. I hope it's not the guy, the leader of that one. I can't think of his name. You know who I'm talking about?
Anton Krieger?
Yeah. I hope it's not him that went down for some reason. But I think there might be more to that storyline, but again, I could be completely off.
I think, well, I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I think they already revealed that, but...
Who the pilot was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they say it's one of Anton Krieger's, so I don't think it's Saul Guerrero or anything like that.
But it's not actually him.
Yeah. I think it is supposed to be more of a nameless person, more or less. But yeah, like I said, they make it like no value of human life for him, unfortunately. Like, they're just like, yeah, let's kill this guy and be done. But I don't know. I'm very excited to see how it kind of all unfolds. I hope we get to see Vex. I think that's his name. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope we get to see him. Maybe if we get a Ferrix reunite, maybe him save the day. That'd be ideal. I feel like he has a lot to offer. But Aaron, close us out with any thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I could close this out with some good thoughts
Yeah,
here.
thank
I think
you.
It's a really good series. Really enjoying the podcast. Hope that our viewers are as well. And I really enjoy it. Hope you guys are too. Drop a like, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.
See you guys.